All right. My dear fellow listeners and viewers, good evening once again. Welcome to another edition of the Dr. Narine Dat Show. The whole idea of the Dr. Narine Dat Show is to create a safe space for positive energy and mutual respect. For those of you who have watched us and listened to us in the past will know that there are a few different ways to listen to us. You can listen to us on the regular dial, that's the radio, 102.7 CKMS FM. You can also listen to us on Rogers, a digital cable for those of you who have the Rogers digital box. And of course, we're also live stream our interview here. So we ask that you take the privilege and opportunity to share our page. When it comes to selection of our guests, I don't want to use the word picky here, but we are very selective when we make our selection because we are only doing this particular show rather, once per week. And tonight, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our guest, Bebi. And as you would know, here on the Dr. Narine Dat Show, we are very diverse in what we do. So one week we'll talk about music, one week we'll talk about politics. Tonight is a little bit different. We'll be talking about health. Let me be very specific here. Bebi will take the time to kind of share her personal story with the hope that folks will be more knowledgeable, in terms of what's happening with her and things of that sort. She's here to basically spread awareness. I don't want to give her too much because she's the expert, based on her own knowledge and experience, what she's going through. And so she's here to share that with you. So, Bebi, welcome to the show. How are you doing this evening?
Thank you. Good evening. I'm so happy to come on your show, Dr. Narine. I'm so honored to come and spread my awareness. 2015 and 16, I had multiple strokes in the brain. I
So
stroke
hold on, hold
out.
on. So hold on. So you're doing really well. I want to commend you for that. But we will get into all of that. So, we have nobody else here. It's all you. And so
Okay,
lots of time for you to get into the specifics, so not to worry about that at all. Before we
okay,
get into any of that, take a minute or so, a couple of minutes, and kind of introduce yourself in a sense where people get to
okay,
know you a little bit more. You talk about where you're born and things of that sort. We'll
okay.
talk a little bit about your transition as you obviously migrated from Guyana to
Yes,
the
yes.
USA, and then we'll dive into the real purpose of why you're here. I think it's
Okay,
important for
okay.
people to know you a little
Okay,
bit that way. So go ahead
thanks.
and do that. No worries. Go ahead.
Yeah, I born in Ogle, East Coast, 1974, Ogle, East Coast. I migrated 1990, 1997,
1999,
no,
97, yeah.
1997 to
Hmm.
New York. I never went back to Guyana. I came in USA and I did my schooling. I was
Hmm.
one more semester to finish my LPN, and I did everything possible as an American, work and do
Hmm.
everything, be independent
Absolutely.
as possible. And 1999, my daughter born, and I was so happy.
Hmm.
And that's my only child. And I did everything possible in New York. Mhm.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank
Like,
you for that. Yeah. So, what was life like for you growing up in Guyana? I know it's been a while because it looks like you've lived many years in the USA, but what life was like for you growing up as a child?
oh, I had everything. I was my father, we went to high school, we did everything. I was like, my dad was a shopkeeper, and
Hmm.
I didn't had any problems in Guyana. Like
Hmm.
poverty or anything. My dad was a shopkeeper
Hmm.
in Ogle, and he was an imam. So me and my brother used to go
Hmm.
every occasion, do everything. High school, I went to high school, Cummings Start Secondary School. I was there, you know, everything was good. I got
All
a
right.
visa and I came to USA. Hmm.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And so what was the transition like for you? Migrated from, Guyana to a whole different country, new country, right? What was the transition like at those times?
It was like amazing when I came here. I got like I was 19 years old and
Mhm.
it was different. I see that you go to work, you had freedom then.
Mhm.
You didn't have to lock up in your house at 7 o'clock and frighten that thief or bandits will be there. You know, it was a different environment and you had more freedom.
So a lot has
Mhm.
changed over the years.
Yes, yes,
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Obviously, you were here to kind of spread awareness for a very rare disease. And over my years of working with different people and have, had the opportunity to work with different clients and things of that sort. Um, one thing I learned is that people still tell this story better than I can, right? So your
yes,
journey
yes,
better, all of those types of things. So what I will do here today is just to kind of guide the interview here, but your response will be crucial, important in terms of what information you share. I also will at some point, whether that be during the show or after the show, I will be adding some links as it relates to what you're about to share so that folks can kind of dive more in terms of getting more knowledge based on what you're about to share. So
yes, thank you.
share with the public because this is important information, and I know it's heavy stuff as well too. So we'll probably take a little break, a musical break in between and so forth. But tell the folks why you're really here.
I am here because I was diagnosed with a rare brain disease called moya moya. Um, I'm here to spread awareness. After the holidays, I'm going to be the second Guyanese person doing a brain bypass. So I'm here to share my story so somebody else can get help. I mistake my headaches with migraines. I used to think it was migraines until start getting injections in the head. And when they did the MRI and CAT scans and brain angiogram, then the doctor discovered that I have stage 4 moya moya disease. So I'm here on TikTok, Facebook, anywhere I can go and spread this awareness because it's a rare disease, yes, 1 out of 100,000. But this awareness, I found Guyanese like myself. So
Yeah.
it's
So I can
really,
imagine, yeah, I
yeah,
can imagine how difficult this is on you. And so whenever you need to take break or if you need to take any sort of a break, that is totally fine. We'll
yeah,
kind of keep today's interview very simple and very direct,
yeah.
only because of the nature of what it is. But when did you discover all of this?
Um, my journey with Moya Moya started in 2015 and 16. I had multiple strokes in the brain, normal blood pressure. I was stroking out. My right side was weak, and my brain went blank, and the doctors they couldn't figure out what was happening. All they told me it was a narrow artery in the brain. The headaches got worse, my symptoms get worse, and the doctor decided to do back all the tests. After 10 years, he decided to do back all the tests. And when they did back all the tests, discovered that I have severe moya moya disease. The left side brain angiogram, there is no arteries in the brain. Moyamoya disease is affecting the arteries. It narrows the arteries and restrict blood flow. So I'm going to have a left side brain bypass. They're going to take donor's artery and put it in the head.
So I'll pause you there for a second because I know this is a lot of information for folks to kind of digest. So what we'll do, we'll stay right there. We'll take a quick musical break because I want to make sure that we are mindful of people listening and watching and so forth. Because it's not the usual kind of interview we've had, and I want you to know I appreciate you sharing your journey with us here. So we are going to come back after this musical break, and then we'll kind of take it from there. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. So I basically took that musical break for a purpose, because I want us to do it piece by piece here. So my question to you, how is it that you cope with everything that's happening right now? Because I can only imagine that this is not, easy to deal with.
It's terrible. I mean, I was a multitasker. I can do more than 4 things one time. Right now, I can't. The brain, it's like little bit, little bit. I get brain fatigue easily. I get angry very easily. I get upset. It's very hard.
And how
You
about
know?
support? Like, do you have people supporting you at all? Like
Yes,
friends,
yes,
family, and whatnot?
yes, I have my doctors, my family, my mom, my dad, my husband, my daughter, because my surgery is not going to be upstate New York. It's going to be in the Bronx. I have to go 4 hours away because in Albany they never heard about Moya Moya disease. They're not equipped to do a brain bypass surgery. So I had to transfer to go in the Bronx. I see a psychotherapist once a week to help me to cope with my disability.
Yeah. And so I guess like keep in mind you're in a safe space here. You do not have to share everything about your personal life here, even though we appreciate the fact that you are sharing what you're sharing right now. I'm
Yeah.
assuming that you are not working right now and all of that because you need to focus on you and your mental health as well too. Like, is that a fair
Yes, yes,
statement? Yeah.
yes, yes. I am because I have a lot of clearance because it's a big surgery. I need every clearance, insurance and everything clearance. So, you know, from now to surgery, it's like doctor's appointment, nurse's appointment, anesthesia appointment. Everybody have to interview me, and get
For sure.
clearance.
For sure. And how has things changed for you? Because obviously, you are not able to do, your day-to-day tasks like you used to, right? Several years ago. How has things changed
Yeah.
for you that way? Meaning,
Yeah.
are you able to do things that you love to do? Meaning that if you had a particular hobby,
Yes, I still, I
you're not
still,
able to do it anymore?
I have a
Yeah, go.
medical bracelet I wear. I go anywhere. I go on the bus. I'm an independent person.
Okay.
I don't like people to like boss me or tell me what to do. As soon as I got diagnosed with Moya Moya disease, the doctor advised me to wear a medical bracelet because I can pass out anytime, anywhere I go or stroke out. Thank God it never happened, you know?
Okay. And so the good news is that you have support. The good news is
Yes,
that you have people in your circle, which is
yes,
a beautiful thing. You have been consistent to reach out to me. Obviously, we were not able to do this interview before because of
yes,
other obligations, other scheduled interviews we've had, different things and so forth. But you've been very consistent, and I want to commend you for your consistency.
yes.
Why is it you felt that it was important for you to make sure that you're pushing through so that you can continuously make it known to the public
Because my
of your story.
doctor,
Mm-hmm.
when I go the first day on my surgeon, right? And he was shocked. He thought I was the aide for Bebi Zafarali because he's seeing a different brain scan here, and he see this lady is walking and talking, and I'm the first Guyanese patient in his office, and he tell me, please, you're walking and talking, spread this awareness. Don't let nobody to suffer like I did, because most Moya Moya patients mistake the headaches with migraine until they stroke out, then they know that it's a disease.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, you want to bring the awareness, right?
Yes, I'm not here to get fame or become a celebrity or coins or money or anything. I'm here to spread the awareness.
Yeah, for sure. And have you had folks reach out to you, like people, like the
Yes,
public people, to kind of give you, professional advice, or at least being there for you, kind of comfort you in any shape
yes,
or
yes,
form? Yeah.
yes. And I found that two other Guyanese. One is 36 years old. She lives in Ohio, and she had both left side and right side brain bypass. So I'm going to be the second Guyanese doing a brain bypass.
No, yeah.
I
Well,
have
thank you.
another aunt. My aunt last year, she had multiple strokes and she is diagnosed with Moya Moya disease. That's my aunt from my mom's side. She is the second generation. I'm the third generation.
So does it
So
restrict? So sorry, go ahead.
they think, I mean, this Moya Moya disease, it's like in a learning process, right? They don't know what causes it. They don't know the cure, you know. They told me if I have a brain bypass, it will prevent me from stroking out and I can live my life like normal if I do the brain bypass, you know?
Yeah. So we hope that it goes well for you. Has this changed your diet in any shape or form? Meaning that are you restricted to eat anything at all?
Well, I was diabetic. I had what you
Mm.
call it, A1C 13. After I had my stroke, I reverse. Do a ketone diet and no carbs, no sugar, and my A1C is 5.9. So I'm trying to avoid sweets and low carbs and stuff
Okay.
because I don't want
All right.
to
Well,
go
thank.
back on. I don't want to go back on insulin and stuff.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. So, folks, what we will do, we'll take another quick musical break because this is heavy stuff we're talking about, and even for my own mental health as well too. We will take a quick musical break, and we are going to be right back. All right. My dear fellow listeners and viewers, for those of you who have just tuned in, you're listening or watching the Dr. Narine Dat Show. The whole purpose of the show is to really create a safe space for positive energy and mutual respect. For those of you who know me, I'm very inclusive in what I do. Um, and so what that means is, on the show itself, we may have a guest where we talk about political issues, social issues, and all of that. I'm very much, I'm engaged with arts as well too. So you will see me have, singers and people, who contribute to the arts and things of that sort. Because music itself is a really good therapy for human relaxation. Study shows that. But today, we are talking about, some health issue, as it was really pushing by my guest to really get the word out there in terms of what she's facing with, and she's referring to her having the moya disease, which I had to kind of dig up and research a little bit more to have a good understanding of it. But she has laid it out really nicely in terms of how it affects her. The whole purpose of her being here is to kind of really bring the awareness. But one thing that's fair to say, Bibi, is any kind of challenges that comes our way, it does affect us mentally as well too. And that's where my skill set lies a little bit, because I do work in mental health, So I have
Yeah.
some good knowledge when it comes to mental health in general. So my question to you, not that we're doing a therapy session here or anything, but my question to you from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 meaning that life is really, really great. It's exactly how you want it to be. And 1 meaning it sucks. It's not going where you want it to be. Where do you think you sit on that scale?
Point. I'll say minus one. It's terrible. My
Yeah.
life went a different level now.
Yeah. No, and that's fair, and that's fair. And keep in mind, no,
Yes, when
nobody's
I
just.
had when
Go
I
ahead.
had my stroke, I wake up that morning, the right side was numb and my brain went blank. I didn't even know where my bathroom was. I didn't know nothing. I couldn't I had to learn back to cook and everything. So my doctor told me, get a notebook and write down everything. After the surgery, your brain is going to be blank, right? So I went through all of this challenge already. I went
So,
3 years speech therapy, 5 years cognitive therapy. I had to learn back to talk and everything. I had to learn back. So having a surgery again like this, I never had the surgery yet, but I went through all of that already with the stroke.
so I don't want you to really stress out and get ahead of yourself here,
No,
because
no,
you are
no,
already
no, no,
going through a lot.
no.
So you actually mentioned something very interesting. When I asked you where do you sit on that scale, your response was you're kind of -1. Basically, what you've said to us in a different way here is that you are at a very low point, and that's understood. My question to you is, what is it that need to happen in your life in order for you to kind of get to that 4, get to that 5, get to that 6? What is it that needs to happen? So, for example, a miracle, right? What does it
Yes,
need to happen so that you're not feeling like the -1 anymore?
I need like prayers. You see, I never saw a patient with a brain bypass. I don't know what the how long it will take. This is my fear,
Mhm. The
right?
unknown, right? Yeah.
The unknown is my fear
Mhm.
because I saw 5 other patients. Everybody is different, you know, and my fear if I would be able to how long the recovery will be, if I'll be back. I'm not saying normal, but if I can be
Mhm.
doing the same things I used to be doing.
For sure. So you mentioned in your response, you mentioned about prayers. Um, Do you believe in a higher power at all? Like, do you believe that there's a God at all?
Yes,
Do you believe?
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And I am open. I mean, I'm not like, okay, we are Muslims. My father always respect every religion. So if somebody can come and say, a Jewish man can come and say, pray for me, yes, I will accept anything.
I can only imagine how difficult it is for you. So, folks, if you have been listening keenly, our guest baby, she's asking for some prayers and whatnot, anything that will kind of boost her, boost her a little bit in terms of, holding on tight, be right. In life, all of us go through different type of challenges at different times. And, sometimes we present ourselves as if everything is okay, right? We wear that mask sometimes, because that's how life it is. It is at times where we just, showcase that everything's perfect, but in reality, it is not. Here we have a guest that is openly sharing her personal challenges. Even though she share about the moya disease, one of the things that really attach to it is a whole mental health piece as well too, right? Because she talk about the unknown and so forth, which can be scary, right? Not knowing, what tomorrow brings, so to speak. Continue.
Yeah.
So, baby, if you were to have one wish, where you can to make anything happen. So assuming, you have a magic wand in front of you right now and you can have one wish for yourself, what will that be and why?
If if I had a magic
Just one, yeah.
wand, if I could have known this 10 years ago, you know, I would have I fight stroke. I would have fight the Moya Moya, side by side. I was getting back my life. Everything was going back normal. And 10 years after, now I with Moya Moya disease. So if I had a one, if it could have happened 10 years ago, I would have fight both together.
Yeah, yeah, thank you for that. So when you were introducing yourself, you mentioned a couple of things. I'm not sure if I got it clear. And I'm trying to connect it based on what based on some of the responses I'm kind of looking at right now. Is your husband alive supporting you?
My husband passed away 2022.
Okay, yeah, yeah, thank you for that. I wasn't sure, but yeah, I wasn't sure, and my apologies for this and our condolences here. Somebody mentioned that here. I just thought I kind of get it clear, just in case if they kind of mistaken you for somebody else and whatnot. So that is a hard thing as well too, because that's not long ago kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Is there so this is, as I was mentioning, this is a very I don't want to use the word touchy, but it is heavy. It is a heavy kind of topic. Heavy conversation is not kind of the shows that we have done in the past where we kind of, talk about, you know, you know, um, like musical, releases or somebody, graduated from,
Yep.
school and all of that. It is very different, but also very important. I honestly, baby, I want to commend you. I give you kudos for really being brave enough because you could have being at home right now and just kind of lay in bed and kind of, do your own thing, so to speak. And here you are, despite the fact that you are going through so many challenges as you lay out here, here you are trying your best to bring the awareness because as you mentioned earlier just now, you wish if you would have known, you know,
10 years ago, yeah.
10 years ago, right? So you are kind of giving a positive message to folks because sometimes people don't take things seriously and whatnot, are kind of hoping that it's not anything serious, it's just a migraine or just a headache and whatnot,
Mm.
not realizing that it can be more than just that, right? So I want you to kind of know that
Mm.
your presence here and you sharing your story openly, it's very commendable. I want you to know that. But I also want you to know that we have different kind of audience watching and listening, and this is hard stuff. Not everybody
I
will be
know.
able to digest what you're saying, and there's a reason why I'm taking all of these musical break in between,
Yeah.
because I want to make sure that, people kind of have that time to kind of debrief, even yourself as well too. I want to be mindful to yourself, but also I want to be mindful to my own self as well too, because this is very heavy stuff to kind of hear, knowing that today, we live in the reality in life is that today we are here, tomorrow we may be gone. That's the reality.
Yeah.
So on that note, I will take another musical break so that you can kind of, just kind of hold on tight there, and then we're going to continue on. We'll take it from there. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'll do, baby. So I
Yeah,
just paused that for a little bit. I just thought I'd give you and people who might have, some difficulties listening to what you're saying a little
yeah.
bit of a yeah, so that's the whole purpose of this. So my dear fellow listeners and viewers, for those of you who have just tuned in, you're watching and listening to Dr. Narine Dat Show. We are joined by Baby, who is openly and willingly share one of the most, challenging times of her life, a disease that she has, the moya moya disease that is, and she has nicely laid out here. Despite all of what you're going through, though, baby, I have to tell you that you are so brave to kind of be here, as I mentioned. So my question to you is, where you get that kind of motivation from? Because at the end of the day, you had some choices here. You could have said, "Look, I'm dealing with my own thing. I do not even want to talk about any of this." And here you are, openly sharing something so challenging. I don't know what that's going to be like to be in your shoe. That I don't know. Where do you have the motivation from?
Because I don't want nobody to suffer like I did. Most moya moya patients, they mistake this with migraine headaches. I did, right? I was 40 years old, multiple strokes, right? And I don't want nobody to m mistake their symptoms, confusion in the brain. I was walking like a headless chicken without, I don't know what I was doing, you know, very confused. I didn't even know where my bathroom, I didn't even know what was happening. I didn't even know what I was eating. The last meal, what I eat. I had to go for therapy and learn back to do everything. And as the brain heal, I remember. So I don't want nobody to suffer like I did. I'm not
Yeah.
here to share my story because I want attention or I'm here to I'm a drama queen or anything. I'm here to share my story so nobody will suffer like I did.
And it's
You
also a
know
healthy
what? The
thing to do
heart.
as well too. Go ahead.
No, I I said no, I'm not going to spread awareness. But when a Guyanese grandparents reach out to me and tell me their 8-year-old child granddaughter had 1 month ago brain bypass, stage 6 moya moya disease, no, I had to do something.
Mhm.
I had to make sure nobody suffer like what I did.
And thank you for that.
Yeah.
So what does, you know, what does a day look like for you? So walk us through how you spend your day because your days they look very different now, right? In
Yeah, but
comparison
I
to
get up in the
this
morning.
disease.
Sometimes I said, no, I'm going to stay in my bed and forget about everything. But there's a Guyanese saying, when you think you're bad, look at somebody worst,
Mhm.
right? I have another aunt. She's 60 something years old. And when I go on TikTok and saw her, how I said, no, I have to help. I have to do something, right? She's not going to have the surgery for now because she have difficult walking and stuff. But I'm the braver one. So I said, no, I'm watching her. I said, I have to do something. I got up. I every morning I'm thankful that I can get up and wake up and see another day.
How about sleep? How did it affect your sleep or if it did
Oh,
at all? Did it
if
affect
I
it in any shape or form?
yes, yes, when I get headaches, I cannot sleep because I'm scared if I wouldn't be able to wake up. It's not because in my head or it's psychological. The
Mhm.
headaches are pounding headaches. right? And this moya, it's a progressing disease. I'm getting worse and worse. The whole right side, the jaw, the ears, the throat, everything on the right side is very painful. So I'm going to
And
go see my primary care doctor to get clearance. I'm going to ask them something stronger so, when the headaches and the whole right side weakness and numbness, if they can give me something.
And how about appetite, in terms of, what you eat and when you eat and all of that? How did it
I,
affect that?
I eat normal
Mm.
and, I did everything normal.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. So you have mentioned earlier, that you go for, psychotherapy sessions and things of that sort. And as you would know, they try their best to kind of still bring you into a positive space. And so
Yes,
my question to you is, what are some of the things you do for you to kind of keep you motivated? I mean, one of the things that you're doing right is what you're doing right now, which is great. You're bringing the awareness, and that way you're learning and realizing that you're not the only one going through this as well. Do you share about other
yeah,
stories and
yeah,
situations you learn? But what is it you
yeah.
do to kind of keep you
I
motivated and keep going?
I um I have a notebook. I have to write down everything
Mhm. Like you keep a
because
journal?
a journal. Then numbers. Sometimes my passwords and stuff. I have to write down everything because I w- the I don't want to when I wake up I'll be confused. I want to be independent as possible. I don't want to be depending anybody to be, helping me. I want to be independent as possible. So the therapist like showing me like how to cope with it and
Mhm.
learning skills and stuff. I went 5 years
Oh,
cognitive
okay.
therapy.
Yeah. And so is it, and you do not have to respond to this question here, but all of the years that you're mentioning to me here, kind of, prompt me to ask you this question because these things are not cheap. Do you have some sort of coverage for all of these sessions at all, or is it out of
Yes,
pocket?
yes,
Okay, good.
yes, yes,
Okay, good. Don't you don't have to
yes,
say more? I'm happy to hear that. So continue to, do all of that. Continue to follow the instruction of those professionals because even though you're preparing yourself for what you talked about, and you still have to mentally prepare yourself, and you have to kind of, manage, all the different thoughts that come, that usually, comes to you, every so often and whatnot too. So stay connected there. That's going to be a best advice I can kind of give you. Um, and stay strong. Like I can tell you, even though you said to me, you feel like you're at that -1, I can tell you, like I see differently. I
yeah,
still see you to be a strong individual. Because if you were not strong, I would have not been here. Because doing this is not an easy thing.
yeah,
Just by coming to an interview is such of a difficult thing, right?
yeah,
But talking about what you've just shared is a whole different level, and you've
yeah.
done it. And I want you to know, we appreciate that because you probably save or will save as people watch, the show and listening to the show. Will save lives for sure because people might this might prompt people to say, "Hey, look, I've been having some sort of headache over the past few months.
And
It
then
doesn't normal, yeah."
most there were young people. They wake up with confusion. They wake up. There's nothing named slight strokes, right? You can walk. You can be not numb, and then 5 minutes after you can walk back. So there's nothing. The slight strokes are the TIAs. They're deadly strokes in the
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah. And as I understand it, as I did a little bit of a research as well too, because as you mentioned, I mean, this is a weird disease. It's not the common per se. Um,
I live in USA, America.
mhm.
90% don't never heard about moya
Mm.
moya disease.
The one thing that was shocking though, was the age, regarding the age, right? It doesn't necessarily, attack people who are older or anything of that sort. You can be young as well,
It can be
and kind of
young,
have it. Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
It
Hmm.
can be, they said children, and from 32 years to 60 something years. That's the ratio they're finding.
Yeah. So, baby, like when try to visualize your life 5 years from now, right? I know you have lots going on. You are living in one of the most challenging, times in your life based on what you
Yeah,
shared. And generally speaking, we live in a very challenging time,
yeah,
referring to what's happening in the world itself. So all, so many layers is happening here based on what you're facing, and so forth. Despite all of that, though, try your best to kind of focus. And I know this is not an easy question because you have lots going on, and sometimes people try to just, they try just to get by day kind of thing. And it looks like
yeah,
you're doing some of that as well too. But
yeah.
if you're able to visualize yourself, 5 years from now, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Thinking from a
Oh,
positive lens.
5 years from now, 5 years, yeah, I'll be back working and doing everything like normal.
I love it. Yeah, yeah. Yes, I love
Yeah,
what I heard from you. I want you to think along that line. That's important. Because our brain can be tricky, right? It sometimes pull us to the negative side, and if that's all we're focusing on, life will
yeah.
be more challenging for you. So try your very best to kind of, you know, um, control whatever thoughts you may have, because that's going to be key as you prepare yourself for what you mentioned just now.
Yes.
I um I've, I want to tell you this much. I want you to know that I appreciate you coming here, sharing your story, and I can assure you, your story here definitely will have a huge impact. And if you make an impact to one person, two person, three persons, so forth, do know that is a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
You've done your part to share, your story, your challenge, here, which is not easy because I've heard all kind of different stories, based on my career, but people will do it, in closed doors and things of that sort. And the fact that you're brave enough to do it in this way, it's such of a beautiful thing. And I really we have to commend you for that for sure. I want you to
Thank
take your
you.
time and kind of share any last minute thing that you would like to share with the people who are listening and watching. And do know that we will have you back in the new year for an update, and we will be praying for
Yeah,
you. We'll be wishing you the
after
best.
after
Mhm.
the surgery, I'll message you and I'll come back, you know, to
Mhm.
see the progress. And
Mhm.
the last minute thing, I'll tell you, you wake up with right side numbness or left side numbness. Don't don't say it's going to pass or it's going to spray on it.
Mhm.
Please don't say
Mhm.
spray on it. You get
Mhm.
headaches. You wake up with headaches. Yeah. What happened to me? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say you get headaches. Headaches are not normal. Go check out yourself. Make a duty. You have a birthday once a year. You go on vacation once a year. Go and see a doctor, a physical once a year. Don't wait. Prevention. Guyanese people say prevention is better than cure, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And
And go ahead.
we Guyanese, we are in denial. We sick, we say, oh, it's going to pass. It's a timing. Pray on it. How can you pray on it and if you don't know what's happening to you? I know prayers really help. It moves mountain, but if you don't know what's happening, how are you going to pray on it?
Um, I can tell based on your response as well. I'm giving you some feedback here. I can tell that you're learning a lot in your therapy sessions and you are putting them into practice for sure.
Yeah.
You're taking this thing seriously, not only for yourself, but you are really trying to make a difference in terms of sharing that with the hope that folks will, take things seriously if they were to have any sort of similar symptoms that you share. Don't take it lightly. And such of a good point you brought up. A lot of things people do, but people are, but generally speaking, to be fair as well to, to some folks, and I hope that people can get past that. A lot of times people get scared when they hear of doctors and things of that sort, right? Because people don't want to
Yes.
hear anything negative, as you would know. But the preventative measures, is key because if people
I
find out
mean,
at an early
if
age.
you see
Mm,
somebody, right?
mhm,
We call it in Guyana slaughtering or stuttering, right? Don't laugh at them. It's a stroke, it's a form of stroke. I
mhm,
had aphasia, right? I know what I want to say, but it's not coming out, you know?
mhm.
Don't laugh at people. You somebody fall, their right side, they trip and they fall. Help them to go see a doctor.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So how does it feel that you've had the opportunity to share your one of the most challenging things you're going through right now to so many different people? Because people will continue to watch, listen, we run this thing, we do reruns on radio and TV and all that. How does it feel knowing that you will make an impact
I am
with your
happy that
story?
I really happy that I reach out to you and you help me to spread this awareness. I really wish if more other people can just put me 1 second or a minute in their platform just to talk about Moya Moya. It's affecting more and more Guyanese West Indian community.
Yeah, for sure. So like I said to you, we'll have you back in the new year. I want you to know that we are all, hoping and, praying for you so that you can come back here stronger as ever and continue this conversation, but in a different way, right?
Yeah, thank
Where
you.
all of this, where all of this will be history, right? So
Yeah.
that's our hope for you. Any last minute thing? I keep saying last minute because I want to make sure you have full satisfaction on the show here. Any last
No,
minute thing you would like to
no,
share? Are
no,
you good? You're
no.
good? Well, thank you.
Th- Thank you so much for having me. I really was pleased when you messaged me and tell me you're ready for me. I'm so happy that you listened to me because
Awesome.
most people think I'm making up this disease. I didn't make up this disease. It's moya moya. It's a rare
Yeah.
disease. Mhm. Thank you so
I
much.
get, I know. No, no, you're welcome anytime. So I know that this is not a sexy topic, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is important for us to pause and kind of have, us and create a safe space for it. And I think uh, both of us have made the right decision. I commend you for doing this, and I really thank the audience and listeners and viewers for joining us as well to, to listen to our guests. And even though you may not have any sort of symptoms that she shared, keep in mind there are different kinds of disease and sickness, right? So let's say you have something else going on, hopefully that you will, take that seriously as well too, right? Even though she's here to talk specifically about the Moya Moya disease because she's going through that, but generally speaking, there could be other things happening. And one thing I would like to share quickly here, a friend of mine. He actually went to work, and when he came back, he found his wife dead in the house.
Yeah.
And as we had conversations and as they investigate, she was having, personal issues, but she never shared with family members and so forth. She was dealing with it on her own, and it was related to physical kind of sickness and so forth. So sometimes, not sometimes, in every case, it's important to share these things with somebody, right? So, because nobody is alone, there's always people there to support and whatnot. And the fact that our guest was able to, come on here to openly share her story, because honestly, a lot of people wouldn't do that. It's a lot of people will deal with it, on their own, because a lot of times people are afraid that they will be judged and things of that sort. And so the fact that you came here is such of a blessing. I want you to know that. So, my dear fellow listeners and viewers, as we are officially approaching the end of tonight's program, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Narine Dat Show. On behalf of myself and our guest here today, very strong, resilient individual, Bibi, both of us would like to join together. Wish you a great today, and even better tomorrow. We'll see you again soon. And Bibi, do know we're praying for you. Wish you all the very best. All right.
Thank you so much.
I'm
Thank
only
you.
I'm only a message away if you need me for anything. That
Yes.
option is always open. All right.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank
You
you.
take good care.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do this here. All right. See you, folks.